Russian Navy is installing dolphin pens
Moscow
in
has
the
deployed
Black
trained
Sea.
dolphins at the entrance of a key...
Привет, comrades. I am here with grave news. Very sensitive information has been leaked to a Western spy. I am here to find out who's responsible. In April 2022, satellite imagery from Maxar Technologies showed militarized dolphin pens containing dolphins at the harbor of Sevastopol. Now, this confirmed that Russia deployed trained dolphins at the entrance of a key Black Sea port to protect one of its naval bases. But how could dolphins possibly protect an entire seaport? What if I told you Russia is not the only country relying on dolphins, and this is not the first time dolphins have been used in war? US dolphin operations date back to at least the Cold War. A secret 1960s CIA project known as Project Oxygas, which envisioned dolphin saboteurs trained to attach explosive devices to enemy ships and destroy them, or even attack enemy divers. Yes, you heard me right. For years, the CIA had been training dolphins to become secret assassins. Sounds like something out of a James Bond movie, but this is no fictional tale. Our story begins in the early 1960s, during the height of the Cold War. The US Navy was looking for ways to protect its fleet from the threat of underwater mines. They had tried using human divers, but it was just too dangerous and too slow. That's when they turned to these sea mammals. Dolphins were the perfect candidates for the job. They were highly intelligent, could be trained easily, and had excellent underwater vision and hearing. And also, impressive speed. The CIA had big plans for the dolphins. They were even to be used in spillover areas of interest, including harbour and coastal reconnaissance through photographic means. The placement of rocket detection units. The dolphins might also be used to place sonar, acoustic and seismic buoys and sensors. So the Navy began training dolphins to identify and mark underwater mines, map the sea floor, and do a couple of other tasks. Now, the CIA envisioned the dolphins working alongside US experts rather than in place of them. This classified CIA graphic shows the oxygas dolphins swimming away from a submarine or underwater container, using harnesses on their snouts to tow bombs. Soon, they realized that the dolphins could do so much more than just mark mines. They could actually carry out attacks on enemy vessels, divers, and underwater facilities. The Navy began experimenting with training dolphins to attach explosives to enemy ships, and the results were impressive. According to an agency report declassified in 2019, which reads, "The oxygas concept and the modest investment were considered more than justifiable, providing feasibility could be demonstrated to deliver a simulated weapons package over an open sea distance to a propeller of a moored PT or patrol torpedo boat." The 1964 CIA Dolphin project coincidentally coincided with Flipper, an American TV show about a crime-fighting bottlenose dolphin that patrolled a Florida water park. The CIA's real-life dolphins weren't expected to fight crime, but they would be trained to fight US enemies underwater, at a much cheaper price than an existing swimmer program, costing $5 million a year according to the memo. In 1970 and 1971, 5 of them guarded an army ammunition pier in Vietnam's Cam Ranch Bay, providing surveillance to thwart enemy swimmers. During the Vietnam War, enemy frogmen were constantly penetrating defenses around the bay. The American Navy secretly used its dolphins there. Dolphins were also deployed in Bahrain during the Tanker War, a late phase of the Iraq War, in which the warring neighbours targeted another's oil vessels. The United States got involved in 1987 to protect Kuwaiti oil exports. The Dolphins were deployed to protect the 3rd Fleet flagship anchored in Manama Harbour in Bahrain. According to a spawar document, Dolphins were also used in the Persian Gulf in 2003 to clear mines ahead of coalition vessels during the US-led invasion of Iraq. According to a former Navy SEAL, the Dolphins were also trained to directly kill. In his memoir of Life as a Navy SEAL, Brandon Webb writes about a training exercise in San Diego to evade enemy military dolphins. Trainers used the mammals to track down enemy divers, outfitting them with a device strapped onto the head that contains a simulated compressed gas needle. Webb writes, "Once the dolphins has tracked you down, it butts you. The needle shoots out and pokes you, creating an embolism. An air or gas bubble injected into a vein or artery can very quickly travel into the organs, something that is potentially lethal." Webb sums it up with, "Within moments, you're dead." And in 1990, the New York Times reported that former Navy trainers had told them dolphins were being taught to kill enemy divers with nose-mounted guns and explosives, a charge that a Navy spokesman denied. And in 2000, the BBC reported that Soviet-trained dolphins were meant to attack enemy frogmen with harpoons attached to their backs, or to drag them to the surface to be taken into captivity. This once classified film shows the Soviet dolphin program. They could also undertake kamikaze strikes against enemy ships, carrying mines that would explode a ship on contact with its hull. But how exactly do you train a dolphin to carry out such a dangerous mission? The Navy used a technique called operant conditioning. The dolphins were trained using positive reinforcement, such as fish, and negative reinforcement, such as loud noises. It's an incredible feat of animal intelligence. The dolphins were also trained to identify friendly vessels and report back to their handlers. They were fitted with special cameras and acoustic sensors that allowed them to relay information back to their handlers in real time. This has saved countless lives and protected the US from harm. Even today, dolphins are still useful in the Navy. Dolphins are trained to locate and mark enemy sea mines so that Navy ships and submarines can avoid them. These US Navy Dolphins are also trained to act as sentries, patrolling waterways and protecting them from intruders. But it's not just dolphins. The Navy Marine Mammal Program at the Space and Naval Warfare System Command, SPAWAR, in San Diego, California, trains 85 dolphins and 50 sea lions. According to SPAWAR NBC reported in 2002 that the program got $14 million in funding a year, and that it has the Pentagon's financial backing throughout the year of 2020. These sea mammals are so intelligent, they can take on complex tasks that just no human or machine can. Whether it's mapping, searching, engaging targets of interest, recovering underwater equipment, or intercepting an underwater intruder, even neutralizing mines, these marine mammals can do so much more than you can imagine. They can even carry out missions at depths below 1,000 feet. Dolphins can navigate very well in very deep and dark places because they can emit vocalizations and then closely listen for how the sound bounces back to them, and this gives them a very good idea of their surroundings and even lets them figure out what kind of metal they might be swimming near. Being able to train dolphins to communicate with humans is fascinating. But what do you think would happen if a human child and a monkey were raised together? Would the child become more monkey, or would the monkey become more human child? This is something we explored, and it was an experiment that was actually conducted with a real human and a real monkey. You can check it out in this video right here. Head over there, and I'll see you there.